Enter Donald Trump.
Really want the World Wrestling Federation atmosphere in the Oval Office.
A series of proposals in Trump's plan that do create problems.
You know, he feeds ammunition to the other party.
Visceral and populist and angry at politicians.
Donald Trump's son is right here to go on the record.
He's incredibly quick, he's incredibly practical, he likes to keep things simple, he likes to get things done, he can cut through red tape. I mean, he's an amazing man, and we've seen a lot of great negotiators. We deal with them every single day, and there's no one better than he is, and you know, he'd be an amazing president for this country. He's passionate about it, and quite frankly, I mean, he doesn't need to set aside his life to do this. You know, he's got an amazing company, and he's doing it, and I think it's actually very selfless.
I'm Hispanic and I vote for Mr. Trump. We vote for Mr. Trump. Yes, Mr. Trump. We love you. We love you. On the way to the White House.
Thank you. That's the first time they've ever done that. Thank you. That's the first time. Amazing. So it's all morphed into one big, beautiful package. And the package is called you, but maybe it's in the form of me. The beautiful package that we're going to do. And you're going to be so proud, and you're going to be so happy, and you're going to win again. We're going to start winning so much. We're going to win. We're going to win on trade. We're going to win on healthcare. We're going to win with the military. Hopefully don't have to use it. We're going to win with our vets. We're going to win with our wounded warriors, the greatest people of all. They're incredible. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to take back our jobs from China and Japan and Mexico. We're going to bring them back. We're going to bring them back.
When I was a little girl, Ivanka, if you're going to be thinking anyway, you might as well be thinking big. He has the strength to make hard decisions and motivate those around him to achieve the impossible. It is my pleasure to introduce to you today a man who I have loved and respected my entire life, my father, Donald J. Trump.
We love you. Beautiful. Wow, what a crowd. You know, you have people 5 miles back in their cars. Should we wait for them to come in? No. I'll tell you what, I just drove up though, and it's like forever. The cars are way back there, so they'll just start coming in, and by the time the last ones come in, we'll be finished. We're going to go home, right? Right? So anyway, thank you very much. You know, South Carolina, special place. They're all saying how well I do in South Carolina, like beyond any place. And I want to just thank you. Fox just came out just a little while ago with new polls, killing everybody. killing everybody nationally. I'd go over the numbers, but what the hell? Let's see. They're so good. Let's see, just out. Trump 35, second 19 or 20 or something like that. In New Hampshire, absolutely killing everybody. We're just beating them. And I'll tell you, we just came out, you'll be very happy. In South Carolina, big lead. My biggest of all, actually. And Reuters just came out. Trump 42. Remember, that's 42%, and we have, how many people are left? I mean, you tell me they're dropping. We have about, what, 12 left. But this was as of a couple of days ago. 42, 16 for Cruz. Carson is at 12 or 12.8. Bush is down low, man. Rubio's down low. Wow. Those are pretty wild numbers. He gets low energy. It's a tough world, right? But all over. But South Carolina's been amazing. Here's one. Trump 38. So we're almost at 40. That's with 14 people. I'd take that with 3 people, right? We'll take it with 3 people. So I just want to thank you all. You know, we have a country that's really in serious trouble, but we're going to straighten it out. I'll tell you right now. We are going to straighten it out. And I tell people, we don't win anymore. When was the last time we won? When did we win a trade where you say, oh, boy, did we do great against China? Instead, China goes down, we go down. We follow. We're like a follower. And I've been talking about this for years, folks. I've been telling you, be careful, be very careful. But we're tied into China, we're tied into other places, and we've got problems. And there's no reason for it. There's no reason whatsoever. Now, they're going to take their currency and they're going to start devaluing it more and more and more. And what's that going to do? That's going to make it impossible for your businesses to compete. It already is, because their currency devaluation is the key. They want to pass. I don't know if you've been reading about President Obama wanting to pass a new trade pact. They don't talk. Well, think of it. The biggest problem we have is currency manipulation. That's how they beat us. They don't beat us on product. We make better product, believe me, by a lot. By a lot. And the trade pact doesn't discuss currency manipulation and doesn't discuss it. The problem we have is we have leaders that don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. And you know, it's very interesting. When I decided to run, I had to run. Too many things. And I love what I'm doing. I built a great company. It's an amazing company. You know, I filed, right? And I say this is not done in a bragging way. I built a great company. Some of the greatest real estate assets in the world. Very low debt. Very tremendous cash flow. All of those things. It's the kind of thinking we need in this country. We have $19 trillion. We have $19 trillion in debt. So when I said that I want to do this, I've got to do it. I was going to do it last time. I sort of wish I did, but you know what? Maybe we're better off this time. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. Because last time we should have won. We should have won. But people didn't get out. You have to, by the way, just in case we forget, you have to get out and vote. You got to do it. You know, if the big Republican base got out and voted last time, with all the stuff you hear, you could have won that election, I'll tell you. There was a lack of spirit, there was a lack of something, and it didn't work out. You had a president who was failing badly. It was a race that should have been won. And we can't let it happen again. We are going to make our country so great again. And I have to say again, you know, I go home and look at all these people from the press. Miserable people, but that's it. True. It never fails, okay? But I go home and sometimes I'll say, the American dream is dead, but we're going to make it bigger and better and stronger than ever before. And that's true. That's true. So I went home recently, and my wife said to me, what a terrible statement you made. It was so depressing. I said, what did I say? You said the American dream is dead. I said, no, but I said I'm going to make it bigger and better and stronger than ever before. No. And she said, no, but they didn't put the second part in. In other words, I said the American dream is dead, but, boom, they cut. That's what happens. That's what happens. But I'll tell you what, we're really doing well. The spirit in this country, no matter where I go, I mean, here we are in South Carolina, but I go to, no matter where, even North Carolina, I have to tell you. I have to tell you. North Carolina. And I have a big job there, and it's a great job, and they're amazing people. But no matter where I go, we go to Texas. We went to Dallas. We had 21,000 people. Mobile, Alabama, and they do have a good football team, whether we like it or not. They do. They do. They do. You'll be back next year. You're going to be back. But, hey, you have a good football team, right? You have a good football team. But no matter where we go, it's this kind of incredible enthusiasm. By the way, before I start, I want to thank wherever he is, the fire marshal has been incredible because they wanted to shut it down and they got extra volunteers and everybody's standing at doors and everything and people are flowing in as we're speaking. So fire marshal, wherever the hell you are, we love you. Okay? Thank you. Especially the people that aren't going to have to turn back and go home. But no matter where I go, I mean, it's incredible in Iowa. It's incredible in New Hampshire, here. We go to Nevada. We go to the SEC. No matter where we go, there's people and there's spirit, and it's beautiful to watch, I will tell you. Oh, I love you, too. I thought that was a heckler for a second. No, that was a... Well, I always say I like the hecklers because the only way the cameras turn to show the audience is when we have hecklers. Last night, they had over 20,000 people in a line in Vermont. They said it was bigger than anything they've ever seen. They've never had anything like it. They've had rock groups. They've had everything. They've never seen lines like that. And it was an amazing evening. I guess you probably mostly saw where I said, don't give them their coats. Now, I mean, it was cold out. And I said, don't give them their coats. I was only kidding, right? But a lot of the news media, they said, that was not very nice. I was kidding, folks. I was kidding. We have to kid a little bit. You know, I always say when we did this, I said, we're going to have a great time tonight, considering the subject matter is not so great. Because what are we talking about? We're talking about a country that doesn't know how to make deals, doesn't know how to run their military. Our military is in terrible shape. Our vets are being mistreated horribly, and that's not going to happen. Obamacare is a disaster, and we're going to repeal it and replace it. We're going to repeal it and replace it. Do you know Obamacare? I don't know if you see it. I know everybody that's using it or have to use it, but whoever, you can't afford it. She just said you can't afford it, right? Raise your hat. Go ahead. Look at that beautiful hat. She just said you can't afford it. 25%, 35%, 45% increases. I mean, nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's dead. It dies in 17 anyway, but it's going to be an explosion. Why couldn't it just die now? Let me go in and do something nice and say, they'll blame me. They'll blame me. But you know what? Obamacare has to end. It has to end. And it's going to end in 17. You read the articles, all the experts, because everybody that they didn't think was going in is going in, and the people that were really paying for it aren't going in. And you know, if you look at your deductibles, I mean, unless you're dying the worst and longest death, you're never going to be able, in a million years, you're never going to be able to use it. So we will change it. We will make it terrific. We'll make it much less costly and much better, and much better. So, and I have to say to the people behind me, that's a lot of people, right? But I have to say. By the way, do you see a bald spot back there? No, right? Not too bad. Not too bad, right? Whenever I have a big crowd behind me, I say, give me a mirror. I don't look at the front, I look at the back, you know? But you know what I'm saying to them? They think they don't have as good a location. they actually have better because, look, see all the cameras? They're going to be the stars. See, that's how. Amazing, amazing people. Our country has amazing people. And you know, we're going to start making Apple computers here instead of in China. We really are. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And we have the people to do it. The one thing, I have been traveling every night. It's another place, another stop, another. The people are amazing. And it doesn't matter where. Here we are in South Carolina. No matter where I go, tomorrow I'm going to Iowa. 2 stops, and then another one on Monday, and then something else on Sunday. I'm all over the place. It helps to have a good airplane, I will say that. I don't know what I'd do without the airplane. We'd have a problem. But we're all over the place. And you know, I've been a little rough on Hillary Clinton lately because it's been very unfair. Well, you know, when you do things, you have to represent yourself properly. You just have to. And she was not fair. And I think that, you know, and she lied. I mean, let's face it. Number one, it started with the video, the ISIS video that didn't exist. And she said, he's forming. And actually, her husband is in that video. So her husband's in a video. And she said, I was in a video, ISIS, bomb, bomb, bomb. It wasn't. Then about a week later, another one was made from a different group. Al-Shabaab. These are real beauties, these groups, I tell you what. Al-Shabaab. Now I'm a star of Al-Shabaab, right? Yeah. And she said, see, I told you. Well, it wasn't made, and then it was made, you know. So, got to be truthful. We got to be truthful. And it's got to be an interesting race. First, we have to do our little thing. We have about 13, 12 left. How many are left? Did anybody leave today? Did anybody drop out? I mean, you have so many guys, they're so low. It's not going to happen. I would never Rand Paul. Did he drop out today? Well, you know, honestly, they're all nice people. They're all nice people. Of course, if I was threatened, I wouldn't be saying that. You know that. If I thought we were in trouble, I wouldn't be saying nice. But they are. A lot of them are nice people. But so far, every single person that's hit me, where have they gone? Bing, right? So far, you look. I mean, now Lindsey Graham is a very nice man, right? He hit me hard. I'll tell you what, he really, you know, it's like, it was sort of strange. It was strange. Boy, did he come after me. I don't really know him, other than one time he gave me his phone number because he wanted campaign contributions. He said he's a rhino. No, you know what happens? When they leave the race, I like them. I like them. I like Lindsey Graham now. I really do. I like them all. I have a very short memory when it comes to this because we have to. We have to. I have the world's greatest memory, though, when somebody does something wrong. But you have to forget it. What? Oh, listen to my man back there. Well, weak on immigration, I will say that. And we have to be strong on immigration, and we have to build a wall. We're going to build a wall. We're going to build a big, beautiful wall. A big, beautiful wall. And we're going to have a door in the wall, and people are going to come into our country. But what are they going to do? They're going to come in legally. They're going to come in legally. So I did this last night. First time ever, but I loved it. I did it last night. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Who's going to pay for the wall? Who's going to pay for the wall? Who's going to pay for that wall? You better believe it. And they'll do it. And look, look at this hat. I love it. I love it. You know, a poll just came out, in all fairness, because I love Mexico. I love the Mexican people, and many, many work for me. Paul, I love the Mexican. Oh, good. Somebody's happy over there. But many, many, thousands and thousands of Hispanics work for me and have worked for me over the years, and they're amazing people. The problem we have is that their leaders are too... By the way, they caught El Chapo today. Did you know? That's good. That's good. I don't think he liked me too much. The rumor was he didn't like me. When they caught him, I said, that's good news. But the problem we have is that their leaders are too smart for our leaders. So they're ripping us. They're doing a great job for Mexico. But when you have Ford building their big plant in Mexico, when you have Nabisco moving its factory, they have a big, big plant, and they're moving their factory from Chicago to Mexico. So what are we not going to eat anymore? Oreos. We're not eating Oreos. That's not a bad thing, by the way. It wouldn't be. But they're moving their big plant to Mexico. And, you know, I tell the story because to me it's a great story and it's instructive, and I hope too many haven't heard it. But a lot of times they say, play it again, do it again, because they want to hear it. But it's the most instructive. All of these guys, I'm self-funding my campaign. I'm putting up my own money, okay? I mean, it's nice to be able to do. But I've been a big contributor. I've been a massive contributor, not just to Republicans. I contributed to everybody. When I was a businessman, which was actually 6 months ago, can you believe it? Now I'm a politician. I'm a politician. I never thought I'd see myself as a politician. Why don't we just say, I'm a businessman who's running for office? Can we say? We don't want to say politician. We don't want to say politician. But, you know, when I look at what's gone on, and when I've given so much money, $350,000 fairly recently to the Republican Governors Association, the RGA, and, you know, millions and millions of dollars to people. And when you're running for, you know, when you're a business person, one of the magazines said he's a world-class businessman, which in all fairness, I am. I got to be friendly with everybody. I got to be friendly with everybody. So I'll give to Dems, I'll give to Republicans, I'll give to whatever, but, you know, I always get treated good. Mr. Trump, would you like to have dinner? You know, it's very important. Washington right now is in total gridlock. We have a president that wants to kill the Second Amendment. We have Hillary Clinton who wants to destroy and take your guns away from you, by the way. She wants to take your guns away. And frankly, you can't do that with an executive order. You know, you're supposed to sit down with the Democrats and the Republicans and the liberals and the conservatives and everybody else, and you're supposed to hammer out deals. And maybe you can't do it, but it's hard. You know, to do that is hard because it means you have to devote that's what I do. My whole life is making deals. You have to get people in your office, and you have to take them out to dinner, and you have to have your wife there, and you have to have the family, and then you have to bring them out again because they're acting up, and then you have to get the other ones, and you have to get all these people, and they drive you crazy. But if you're really good at it, you can get it done. But what you shouldn't be doing is saying, you know what? I'll never be able to get anything done, so I'm just going to sign this little piece of paper and let them sue me and let them work it out over the next 5 years when somebody else is on the golf course. You understand? We can't do it. So I just want to tell you, your second, and this is a big Second Amendment area, your Second Amendment, if I win, is totally, totally, totally protected, okay? Totally protected. And I tell the story, if you take a look at Paris, where we had that horrible 130 people killed, others to follow, very, very horribly wounded, sitting in hospitals, and you'll have others to follow. 130 people killed. In Los Angeles, in California, you had the two wackos that came in, how about that? Came in on a marriage visa. Who the hell, why are we taking a marriage visa? And by the way, have you seen what's been happening within our country in the last 2 or 3 days? Have you seen? And we have a president that doesn't even want to talk about what's really happening. We have to find out what the hell is going on. We have to do it. We have to do it. But in Paris or in California, if some of the people on the other side, you know, Paris is the toughest gun location, they say, practically in the world. Paris. France, generally, you can't get a gun unless you're a bad guy. You just have a gun, you walk in. I mean, what the hell? Nobody's going to do anything. Nobody else has a gun. So the only ones that have the guns are the bad guys. You saw that with a magazine a year ago. Now you see it here. So they walk in. Nobody has a gun. Bing, move over. Boom, move over. Boom. That's the way they did it. Just come on, next. Well, and they kill 130 people plus. Now, if somebody in this room, like him, right? Like him, my guy. Guy's been at like 10 of my rallies. He's like my brother, this one. Like him. But, see, that's youth. That's youth. But if somebody in Paris or in California, if they had guns on the other side, not a lot. If they had 3 or 4 people with revolvers strapped to their hip or their ankle, I tell you what, it would have been a whole different story, folks. You'd have bullets going 2 ways. No, you'd have bullets going 2 ways. You would have bullets going 2 ways, and sure, there would have been a problem. But you wouldn't have 130 people plus laying there. You wouldn't have 14 people, and these people gave them wedding parties. Can you believe it? The people in California gave wedding parties to these 2 highly radicalized people. And in California, there were people that knew what was going on. You have to report them to the police. You have to report them to the police. They had pipe bombs all over the floor of their apartment. People saw the pipe bombs, and they said, oh, we're not going to report. We're not going to report them. Okay? There's something wrong here. There's something going on. And until we get it straightened out, we have to be vigilant. We have to be smart. We can no longer be the stupid country anymore. We can't do it. We're led by people. I used to say incompetent. We're led by stupid people. We can't have it anymore. So every time I say, and every time I talk about Second Amendment, I bring up things like this. I can bring up 100 others. Like, how about these gun-free zones on military bases? We have the 5. Say it. I can fix it. Jeb can't fix it. I can. Well, actually, Jeb Bush came out with a statement. He can fix it. Now, if you're in politics, you don't want to use the word fix. Fix means ding, 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 right? You don't want to use that word. No, I take care of things, believe me. It's going to be fixed. There's a lot of things. You know, when we have budgets, and how about the budget that was just passed, okay? No. Obama got every single thing he wanted. We got nothing. I couldn't believe how fast. And then you wonder, you know, I know where the Democrats are coming from. I don't even mind it. That's what they're doing. But what about the Republicans? We elect them, all of us. They go to Washington, and they become different people. We're going to end Obamacare, that you give them a vote. We're going to end Obamacare. We're not going to let people come in from Syria that we never saw before, that we have no idea where they are. They could be ISIS, and they could be ISIS. And by the way, it's turning out that they probably are ISIS. You see, the migration, right? You see, it's sad. I mean, it's sad. But then you look and you say, there's so many men. They're so young. They're very strong. Where are the women? Where are the children? And you look, and then on top of it, they have cell phones. Now, what the hell? How are you in a migration? You don't have any papers. They don't know where you come from. You have no documentation, but you have a cell phone. And on the cell phone, what's on there? ISIS flags, right? They have ISIS flags on the cell phone. They have pictures of horrible carnage on the cell phones. What are we doing, folks? What are we doing? What are we doing? We can't do it any longer. I didn't need to do this. Believe me, I had a very nice life. I have this beautiful family. I have a beautiful company. I had to do it. I had to do it. You know, politicians are all talk. They're no action. I'm telling you. I deal with them. And not every single one, but just about. I've dealt with them for 35 years, for so many years. And that's all. I get zoning in New York. I get everything I want. I know so much about politicians. All talk, no action. The thing they're best at is getting reelected. The thing they're really good at is getting people to give them money to get reelected. And you know what? When that happens, and I'll tell you, so let's go back to Ford. They build a plant. We know it's no good. How is it good? You don't have to go through college. You don't have to go through anything. They build a plant, $2.5 billion plant in Mexico, right? Now, let's say that Hillary gets in. She's given $100 million and going to be much more than that. And all of those people that put up 5 million, 2 million, 1 million, believe me, they control her. So she knows it's no good. So she'll say, it's no good. Then she'll be visited by a lobbyist, by a special interest group, or by her donors. And they'll say, we gave you a lot of money, or somebody gave you a lot of money. You can't do this. This would be, and she'll say, all right. Now, here's the difference. Trump wins, right? Right? Okay. So Trump wins. I know the lobbyists. I hire the lobbyists. They're very good. They're very capable. I could get almost anything. I think I could get almost anything passed, okay? I think I could get almost anything passed. I know the good ones. I know the bad ones. And, I understand the game. And I think you have to understand the game like Obama doesn't understand the game. He doesn't know radical Islamic terrorism. He doesn't know. He refuses to say the name. If you don't say the name, you're never going to solve the problem. I know the game. And I know the game very well. And these people will come in. Huh? Is there somebody? Was there somebody up there? Hey, look, it's a problem. We have a problem. Huh? We have a problem, and it's going to be solved, but we have to understand the problem. We have to know the problem. And before we do anything, and before we do anything stupid, we have to know what we're doing. So we do have a real problem. We do have a real problem. There is such a level of hatred that you can't even believe it. There's a hatred, a deep-seated hatred. We have to find out where is it coming from and what can we do about it. And people have to help us. They have to help us. People in the community have to help us. Because you know what? The police in this country are absolutely incredible people. They're incredible people. And you know, sometimes they'll speak and they'll say a recent magazine cover, hatred. It's not hatred. It's not hatred on our behalf. There is hatred against us that is unbelievable. It's their hatred. It's not our hatred. It's their hatred. And we have to find out what's going on. Okay. So let's get back to Ford. Sounds quite unexciting by comparison. By the way, isn't a Trump rally more fun than all these other stiffs? How cool, right? No, but isn't it like it's great? It's great. I mean, last night it was like so amazing. Tonight's amazing. And then you go to some of these other, I mean, you go to Jeb Bush's rally, you fall asleep almost immediately. Now you go to these other, first of all, instead of having 10,000 people, you have like 2 people. You have 2. Did you see this clown O'Malley? His big credential is that he was the mayor of Baltimore, right? Now he's running for president. He was the mayor of Baltimore. He has a deal like this. One person showed up. He sat and talked to him for 1 hour. After the guy left, the press is all out there. Are you going to vote for him? He goes, no, I'm not. No, can you believe it? So you'd say, why doesn't he just go home? He's wasting his time. And I can say that about certain Republicans. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And I'm in too good a mood. I don't want to hurt their feelings. But people should go home so we can get on with this thing, right? Right? So here's what happens. So Ford, they built a big plant. Everybody knows it's wrong. So rude, right? It's rude. You know, okay, so here's what happens. 3 weeks ago, we had a really rough guy. He was swinging fists. He was doing everything. So the guards, they're not my guards. They work here, and they're the police. So they start swinging. It's a fist fight. They take the guy. They you know, it was a rough deal, right? And I was rough. I said, get him out of here. Get him out of here. And I actually said it differently. Ready? I said, get him the hell out of here. Okay. Right? So the next day, headlines, Trump was very nasty and rough, and it was disgraceful. I was killed on that thing. So the following evening, we had one guy, the whole evening, one person. And I said, because I was really mistreated by these people. They're the most dishonest people in the world. So I was mad. So we had this guy, not a good person either. And I was so nice. I said, no, don't hit him. Please be careful. Walk him out. Please, don't hit him. Be very nice. I got killed then. They said, Trump is very weak. He wasn't strong. So I can't win. I can't win. Oh, I tell you what. I like the old days better. I like the old days better. Okay? I used to love those old football coaches. They would be rough. You know, like the players can't take it, right? I loved Vince Lombardi. Did we love Vince Lombardi? There was no games. There was no games. The old days were different. Today you have to be very, very gentle, very, very careful. And part of the problem when you're that way is it'll never end. I mean, here's a guy walking out waving to everybody. In the old days, you couldn't walk out that way. It was a very much different way. But you know what? We have to be politically correct. We're here. We love each other. It's one of those things, right? One of those things. But let me just go a step further. So the lobbyists would call me about Ford, and I'd say, no, you're taking our jobs out of Michigan. You're taking our jobs out of, whether it's here, Michigan, anywhere, I don't care. I want it in the United States. Does that make sense, right? I don't care. But Michigan's, they lose plants, and they lose them to countries, and they lose them to Mexico. And Tennessee lost a big one. It was going to Tennessee, and all of a sudden, at the last moment, they turned around, they went to Mexico. Mexico, by the way, is going to be the car capital of the world pretty soon. You better be careful, because they've taken a lot of our businesses. That's like a mini China. China is the greatest abuser of all time, okay? But Mexico is doing a very good job. They're really outsmarting us. Okay, so now they call me, and they say, Mr. President, you really have to let that happen. Everything is done. Everything is signed. And I'll say to the head of Ford, look, here's the story. Doesn't help us. We don't have any jobs. What are you going to do? You're going to make trucks, cars, and parts, and then you're going to sell them to us and perhaps others, and they're going to come across the border. you know what? It's no good. He'll say, Mr. President, we have to do it. And I say, no, not going to happen. And here's what I'm going to do. If you're going to build that plant, we're going to charge you 35% tax. And every 35, and I'm a free trader. By the way, they'll say, oh, Trump, he's really for close. I'm not for close. I'm for intelligent trade. We lost with trade last year with Mexico a fortune. When I say the wall is going to be built, and tonight you said it 3 times, the wall's going to be built by Mexico. You can hold me to it, folks. You can hold me to it. Now, there are lots of different ways to get them to pay, but they're paying. They're paying. They make a fortune with us. What they make is so much more money than the cost of that wall. The wall's peanuts. I'm a very good builder, I know. And it's going to be a real wall, a real wall. This is going to be a wall that works. Like Israel has a really good wall that works. Our wall's going to blow it away, believe me. It's going to blow it away. It's going to blow it away. And no politician can do it. I mean, I had one of the guys the other day, never mentioned wall, and all of a sudden, 3 days ago, he said, we're going to build a wall. He's being interviewed on Fox, actually. And he said, we're going to build a wall. I said, that's the first time he's ever said that. And my wife said to me, darling, he just said he's going to build a wall. So all of a sudden, you know the way they've come sort of full circle? Remember this, I started. And I took heat. Man, did I take heat. And remember all of the guys running against me, they're all saying, and women, but the people running against me, they're all saying, oh, that can't be done. You can't build a wall. You can't do this. Now they're all saying, I think we're going to build a wall. Yeah, I like that. And the problem is they don't give you any credit. They don't say, you know, Trump came up many months ago and said we're going to strengthen our borders. We're going to put on Border Patrol more. We're going to get the people out. They can come back in. They have to come back in legally through a process. Let them do it. The good ones, only the good ones. We're going to get the really bad ones. You know, you got some real bad dudes. They're members of gangs in Chicago, Los Angeles. We're getting them out long before the wall will start. They're going to be out the first day we're going to start that process. And we'll get them out with the local police. You know, the local police, except they're afraid to do anything now because it's terrible. But we'll get them out because the local police know who they are, and the local police are terrific, and we're going to get them out. So I'll say to them, here's the story. I really will tell you, if you build it, you're going to have a tax. It's going to be a substantial tax, and I hope you have a lot of fun building in Mexico. I guarantee you that within 48 hours, we get a call saying, Mr. President, we've decided to build our plant in the United States, okay? I guarantee, 100%. 100%. It's a little bit like, it's all the same. You know, it's called The Art of the Deal, right? You all read The Art of the Deal. Everybody read The Art. It's a little like the Iran deal. One of the most embarrassing things our country's ever done. We have made them so powerful, so strong. And you know, in 2009 with Hillary Clinton, when they were rioting in the streets, all they needed was a little incentive, and that whole thing would have ended, and you would have had a much different country than we have right now. Right now, we have a terror country. We just gave them $150 billion, 24-day inspection period. So if we want to inspect, they have 24 days, and before you do that, you have to go through a whole procedure, so it could be forever. And then the greatest is they have self-inspection rights, so that we have an area, which is probably where they're going to do it, where they self-inspect. And I say to myself, can you imagine you call them, please inspect that area. They call you back, oh, it's fine, it's fine. How stupid are these people that negotiate? But here's the thing. So we have 4 prisoners over there. And 3 years ago, or whenever this thing started, I have never seen a deal take so long. 3 years ago, you walk in and you say, got to be the right messenger. Kerry's not. Kerry's a stiff. You walk in. No, he's a stiff. He doesn't know anything about business or negotiation. He's a stiff. He's a stiff. And Obama's responsible for it. 3 years ago, very simple, you walk in, you say, hello, everybody. Listen, we have a problem. You have 4 prisoners, and by the way, it used to be 3, now it's 4, but just for simplification reasons. You have 4, they just pulled another one in, you know that, the reporter from the Washington Post. Shouldn't be there. We have a pastor, he's there, he's a Christian. He's there because he's a pastor. He's a Christian, and a very good guy, and he's been there for years now. So 3 years ago, at the beginning, you have our prisoners, have to let them go before we start. They'll say no. You know, the Persians are great negotiators, by the way, as they showed you here. They'll say no. and you say, bye-bye, we're leaving, and you get up and leave. And then you double up the sanctions, you double them up, and now they'll call you within 24 to 48 hours, say, we're going to give you your prisoners back. Thank you. Now you get the prisoners back, get them on the plane, make sure they're up in the air. Now you inform them that you're not getting the $150 billion that's off the table. No, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. I mean, we gave them 150. You know, people are worried about them developing nukes. They can buy them. What the hell do they have to develop them for? Now, the other day, if you see, and you know, part of the beauty is of doing what I do. I have a very good memory, so I can do this. No teleprompter, right? Is there a teleprompter? This is like a magic. This is like a magic act. Is there a teleprompter? I saw Hillary the other day. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba ba. And the worst thing, she was outside. So, you know, and outside they paint them black on the back. You can't even see. So this whole half, it was the biggest screen I've ever seen. And she's going this way, that way. And I won't say, but I saw one of our Republican people the other day making a speech with a big, fat teleprompter. Anybody can do that, right? But one of, and I don't read the speech. So the other thing, I have a couple of notes, right? The other thing, I don't want to sit here, da 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 da. It's so easy. Of course, you know, after about 2 paragraphs, everyone's walking out. But one of the beauties of doing what I do, which I think very few people do, a friend of mine said, you mean you're speaking in front of 21,000, this was in Dallas, you're speaking in front of 21,000 people and you don't have a speech that you're going to read? Because he calls me and said, I'd love to see your speech. Everyone's talking about it. I'd love to see your speech. I said, I have one. I speak from the heart. And it's true. I speak from the heart. I speak from the heart. And the brain, by the way. We don't want just heart, folks. We want brain. Let me change it around. I speak from the brain, but I also speak from the heart. But one of the beauties is we can talk about things that took place 2 hours ago. Nobody's writing and speeches and, you know. And look what happened a couple of days ago in Iran, right? With the embassy, with the Saudi Arabia. I saw that and I said, here we go. They've taken over Yemen. They're really working hard for Yemen. They don't want Yemen. They want to go into Saudi Arabia. Now, here's the problem. Saudi Arabia executed all these people. Not good, okay? Not good. You know, we have no babies over there. This is not a deal. I want to get back to rebuilding our country. But we got to straighten that out now because we can't have people cutting off Christians' heads and everybody else's heads. And we can't have people. I was against the war in Iraq. A lot of people said, oh, he's too tough. He's too tough. I was against the war in Iraq. You got to know when to use it. Because I said you're going to destabilize the Middle East. So it cost us $2 trillion, thousands of lives, wounded warriors all over the place who I love. These are the greatest people. The spirit they have, they're the greatest people. They're the best people. All over the place, right? But you got to know when to use it. So I was against, and here's the story. We need somebody with great compassion because we have difficulty. We have people that need help. We got to help them. You know, a lot of times they say, as a Republican, you're not supposed to say that. And my attitude is, oh, I have to say something other than that. What's the purpose of doing it? And we can do it. When we bring our jobs back to this country, we're going to save Social Security. We're going to save Medicare. So many of these people that I'm running against, they want to destroy Social Security. You've been paying into it for years, especially the older people have been paying. You've been paying it into it for years and years, and now they want to raise ages and do this and do that. I don't want to do that. I want to take our money back because in the history of the world, there has never been a greater theft than what China has done to our country. It's true. Now, multiply that by a lot of other countries doing the same thing, but on a smaller scale. There's never been. We've rebuilt China. When you go over there and you see the bridges and you see the tunnels and you see the kind of money, the airports, and then we land at LaGuardia with its potholes in the runway, we're like a third world country. We've become a dumping ground for the rest of the world. We can't have it anymore, folks. We can't have it anymore. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So we're going to save Social Security, and I mean in its form. We're going to save Social Security. We're going to save Medicare. We're going to get rid of this crazy Common Core, which is the most insane. which is the most insane thing, where your children in South Carolina, your children are educated by people and bureaucrats that make a lot of money living in Washington, D.C. I don't think so. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And, you know, people like Jeb Bush, I don't want to bring up his name because he's down at 2% in the polls. He spent, think of this, he spent $68 million, right? And this is a great thing. I love talking about this, but now I'm going to actually start to spend money because I don't want to take a chance. I'm afraid to take a chance, right? But Jeb spent $68 million on his campaign. He's down here, like really, really low, okay? I spent nothing, and I'm number one. Now, I spent nothing. I mean, practically nothing. I pay for fuel, right, you know? But I spend very little. And wouldn't it be nice if our country could spend very little and be number one as opposed to always, really, the mentality? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Think of this. I'm a big believer in education. So education. We're ranked number 28 in the world, and yet in terms of payment per pupil, we're number one by far. Number two is so far back you wouldn't even believe it. So we spend much more than any other country by far, and yet we're ranked number 28 in the world. We have third world countries that have a better educational system than us. So we got to do something about it. We got to do something. So with my campaign, I look at it the same way. But wouldn't it be great, though, if we could do that? We spend less and we get a better result. That's what I want. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what we're going to do. So oftentimes I get accused of tone. Now, I'm a very reasonable man. I told you I didn't want to go into Iraq. I'm the one that didn't want to go. I'm the only one, I think, that didn't want to go in. You know, Hillary voted for it. I think Rand Paul, maybe, but it's irrelevant now. It doesn't matter. But I think he might have been there, you know. But I didn't want to go in. I'm the most militaristic person there is. But you got to know when and where and all that stuff. You can't do this. And the other day, Putin, he said, Donald Trump is brilliant. And Donald Trump is their real leader. And he's killing everybody. And he's a brilliant guy. And they want me to denounce him. I want to say, play it again, Putin. I love it. Give me more. They want me to denounce it. We will get along in the world, and my temperament is great. They say the tone, that my tone isn't nice. You know, they're killing us all over the world. We're fighting wars all over the world. Who the hell cares about? We want tough tone. We got to have tough tone. We got to have tough tone. And we've got to be unpredictable. You know, I hated telling the oil thing. You know, for years I've been saying, take the oil, take the oil, take the oil, right? I've been saying. They've all said, oh, that doesn't work. That's no good. I said, why is it no good? ISIS is fueling themselves with the oil, right? Everybody knows that. Like $1 million a day with oil. They're making a fortune. And I said, take the oil, take the oil. And Obama's White House would say, well, that wouldn't work. Why wouldn't it work? I mean, they're making, now they're also making a lot of money with the banking stuff. Oh, do I know banking? Nobody knows banking. There's no banker that knows banking like me. Coming in through all sorts of crazy circuits and channels. And let me tell you, I know how to end that. But we have to drive them into poverty. Right now, they're making a fortune. So I said, take the oil. They didn't do it. All of a sudden, a couple of weeks ago, they started hitting the oil. But I wanted to not just hit the oil. I wanted to take the oil. And I wanted to give some of that profit to wounded warriors and to vets and to families who lost children. And you wouldn't even have ISIS right now. And frankly, without Hillary Clinton and the stupid decisions she made, along with our president, you wouldn't have ISIS right now. And you wouldn't have the migration either, by the way. You wouldn't have the migration. You wouldn't have this big, unbelievable, and heartbreaking migration. It was all bad decisions, and we're going to stop it, and we're going to do things that are going to be great. Now, many of the greatest business people have backed me. Carl Icahn, as an example, he's a great businessman. A lot of people, maybe you've heard of him, maybe you haven't, but Carl Icahn, a great, great businessman, very rich guy. He doesn't want money. He would love to do something. If I, as an example, I'll say, Carl, handle China. That's it. Go away. Go home. Go back. Relax. It's going to be just fine. It's going to come down, down, down. All of it's going to, and you know what? The impact, when we lose 505 in terms of trade, we're losing $505 billion a year? 505 billion. What the hell? Now, I have a friend who's a great manufacturer. He can't do business with China. They come in and they dump all their stuff. When we want to do it, he can't get in. And when he does get in, he has to pay a massive tax. That's not the deal. The deal is no tax, right? Free borders. Yeah, it's free for us, but it's not. It is absolutely horrible what's going on. Japan also, they just lowered the yen. They're killing us. Caterpillar, look at Caterpillar stock. Look at Komatsu. They have Komatsu. They make excavators and things, bulldozers. Good company, not as good as Caterpillar. The machinery's not as good, but it's good. And I have a friend, he just bought a big order of Komatsu. He said they've devalued the yen to such an extent, to such an unbelievable extent. And I see him, he's like depressed. All his life, he's bought Caterpillar. Take a look at Caterpillar now. Take a look at their stock. And I've been talking about this for 2 years. And I knew it just from the one friend, because he's a big buyer of equipment and always bought Caterpillar. Now he's buying Komatsu from Japan. How the hell do we let them do this? How do we let them get away with it? We have Carolyn Kennedy as our trade negotiator, as our ambassador. She didn't even know what she was. She was like, it was the craziest thing. She said, I'd like a job. Would you like to be ambassador to Japan? It was on 60 Minutes. She said, really? And this is who we have negotiating with some of the greatest killers in the world. Abe, the new boss. He's the best one they've had in 50 years. Lowering the yen, lowering the yen. They're killing us. We can't let it continue, and it won't continue with me. I have the best people in the world. The best. I have the great, look, I know all of them. Some are great, some aren't so good, some are overrated, some are phenomenal, some you've never heard of and they're better than all of them. I have the best. I have people calling me that are worth billions of dollars, that have made a fortune, that are phenomenal. They don't want any money. They want to do it. I say, Japan, you work on it. China, you work on it. I mean, guys like Carl Icahn, we will make our country rich again fast. We will make our country great again. We will make our country great again. And, you know, at one of the rallies, a woman came up, a beautiful woman, an older woman. She came up to me and she said, Mr. Trump, it doesn't sound good when you say we're going to make our country rich again. I said, I got to make it rich before I can make it great. We don't have any money. We're a debtor nation. I got to get rid of this $19 trillion. $19 trillion. And now with this horrible deal just made by the Republicans, it's going up to $21 trillion. $21 trillion. And I said, then she said to me, same woman, she said, do you think you're nice enough to be president? I said, I really am. I think I'm a nice guy. I love people. I'm doing this because I love people. But I said, but I'll be honest with you. I don't think it matters. This is going to be an election of competence, not niceness. We're tired of, it's going to be an election of competence. So, what we're going to do is we're going to have strong borders, and we're going to have the wall, and the wall's going to be great. And we're going to let people come in, and they're going to come in legally, and we're going to be really proud of ourselves. We're going to have a country back again. We're going to get rid of our health care problems that we have now in terms of Obamacare. It's going to be gone, and we're going to come up with great plans. We have so many great plans. They're so phenomenal. They're so much better and so much cheaper. And by the way, not only you, it's also the country. The country is paying so much. You're paying so much. You know, you think of yourselves, Obamacare is going to be unaffordable by the country. You know, you're trying to cut costs. This thing is mushrooming. It's a disaster. So we're going to fix that. We're going to fix our military. It's going to be so strong and so big and so powerful that nobody's ever going to mess around with us. Nobody is going to mess around. We're going to take care of our great vets because they have been mistreated and they're not taken care of. We are going to knock the shit out of ISIS, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen fast. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen fast. And just to end, I just want to say, right from the beginning, South Carolina has been with me. We've had biggest crowds. We've had the best polling numbers. We've had the best polling numbers. We've had the best everything. I love you people. We are going to make America great again. I love you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.